Hello and welcome back to Two Shots of Espresso with Serena Appel and Colby Burchin. Hello, Colby.
How are you, Serena?
I am fantastic because today we are having a bold conversation with high octane insight. Today's guest is Dave Aizer, an award-winning public speaking and media coach with over 25 years of live TV and stage experience. From boardrooms to TEDx stages, Dave helps professionals speak with confidence, clarity, and calm, especially when the pressure is on. If you've ever had your heart race before a big presentation or wished you sounded as confident as you felt prepared, this episode is for you. Welcome to the show.
My pleasure. What an intro. Can you just follow me around and do that wherever I go? That was great.
Dave, I'm so appreciative that you came on the show. We have a mutual friend and your sister also, who both of them, they said it would be a great combination having you on the show. And it's really going to be a great enlightening experience for our viewers to hear your take on certain ideas. So thank you so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure, Colby and Serena. I listened to some episodes. I've watched you guys in action. I think you're both terrific at what you do. So I'm excited to hopefully add value to your audience and answer any questions you have.
So you've spent decades on live TV. What's the biggest misconception people have about confident speaking?
That's a great question. I would say that even those of us who've been on TV for decades and been on stages forever, we still get nervous. So I think there's a misconception that people think that the pros have no problem with public speaking anxiety. We all do. I've given big keynote speeches. I've had big TV shows, and you definitely feel the butterflies. The difference is we've learned how to leverage it. I've had years of experience figuring out what to do when I get nervous and how to actually mitigate it, and then whatever is remaining, use it to my advantage. So when I work with people, the number one thing usually is anxiety. There's some technique stuff obviously as well and some storytelling. It usually starts with public speaking anxiety, and what I want people to know, what I want your audience to know is that it's okay to have butterflies before you do something big because it means you care and it's important. It's just a question of reframing that and leaning into it and using it to make you a better performer.
That is excellent. And it definitely leads to my next question because when someone freezes under pressure, what's usually going on? It's that anxiety. And how do you fix it fast?
Usually, in my experience, it's because people have a bit of a perfectionist mindset when they perform. They feel very self-conscious that they're being judged, that they have to get everything right, that they can't say or they can't trip on a word or they can't deliver something differently than they rehearsed it. And what I try to do is remind people that it's not about them, it's about value to the audience. So, I'll give you an example. If I trip on a word here, or if I don't say something as cleanly as I would like, it doesn't really matter as long as you and your audience are getting value out of it. Sure, I want to be perfect, but I'm not going to be, so who cares? It's just more important to proceed, to figure out where you left off and to go forward. And I think oftentimes audiences appreciate the imperfections because it feels real, it feels present. So when someone freezes up, usually it's because they're way too much in their own head and they're not nearly enough into the value that they should be providing the audience.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So is confidence something you're born with, or is it a trainable skill?
Both, but definitely a trainable skill for sure. Because if you can do the work before you get on camera or on stage that really has nothing to do with your performance, you're going to be more confident anyway because you like the material. I feel like if you don't do a good work, like for example, the two of you, if you had not prepared for this conversation, if you didn't know anything about me, you might be a little more nervous and a little less confident because you wouldn't have any control over what was going to happen. But since you've done the work, since you know the topic, since you're excited about the conversation, before we all pressed record, or you guys pressed record, you felt good. You felt excited for this. You had good questions. So that's going to give you confidence. So the idea that somebody can never be confident as a performer, I don't buy that. I think if you, again, prepare well and you've got a value mindset for your audience, automatically you're going to be confident. And then you got to get on camera. You got to press record a bunch of times. You got to screw up a bunch of times. You got to watch it and learn from it. And then you'll get better just like anything else.
I love that. We definitely have rolled a bunch of times in our over 100 episodes that we've taped, right, Kolbs?
I mean,
We've flopped, we've failed, we've stuttered, and so this all definitely resonates with us.
yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
you're talking to a guy who has made numerous mistakes on live television, said jokes that bombed on stages. You learn, and the show goes on. It's fine. You figure it out, and oftentimes, I think those moments are the most charming. Like I said earlier, anyway, I think people really resonate with that stuff because they're in on it. It feels like it's not overly rehearsed or produced, and it's organic. So that's okay. It's just I think it's a question of not making mistakes. Fine, it's a question of not repeating it and watching. I always make my clients watch themselves on tape, and everybody hates it. I don't know if you guys do that after the show's over. Listen and watch yourself. Most people can't stand it, but it's necessary if you want to get better at this.
I've done that.
Sure is.
Did I?
Sure is.
Yeah, it's humbling.
Okay.
But it's good.
Yes, it's truly humbling, but I agree with you. It definitely shows the authentic side of a, high profile executive. If they do kind of like flub or they just keep going, and then how they pull it together too shows that other side of them, that they are a pro, that they've done this a million times. But, I think we like to see the real you and you, Kolbs, right? We like to see the real in everybody.
Very true.
What's the number one mistake professionals make when speaking to executives or high stakes audiences?
Well, I think again, it's they make it about themselves, and even if you are giving a TED talk about something traumatic that happened in your life and it's very personal, it still can't really be about you. It always has to be about the audience all the time. What are they getting from it? They've given you their time. Maybe they've given you their money to be in the audience. That they've sacrificed whatever else they were going to do to listen to you. So typically when things go wrong, it's in my feeling about it, it's usually because the messaging is off, because it's not specific to the audience. You may have this great presentation or whatever the case may be. You're in sales, you're an executive, you're a podcast host, awesome. But if it's for the wrong audience and you don't change it, then it's going to fall on deaf ears, and everyone's going to resent it. No one's going to get value out of it. You're going to feel badly as a presenter. So you have to just be so locked in on who's my audience, why do they care, how can I serve them?
Great advice.
We're speaking to all of you right now, all of our listeners. We hear you and we're speaking to you. And that's why we have Dave on the show, because we know that there's somebody out there today that needs this advice, that is struggling or wants to do better, wants to level up their presentation skills. And that's why Dave's with us today.
Okay, so I want to talk about leveling up. Let's just say one of our listeners has a very important meeting this week. How can someone instantly improve their presence for this meeting on camera, just so they know what to do?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to do. Again, not to continue to make the same points, I'll just say it quickly. Feel good about the content ahead of time. That's important. So immediately start working on content and make sure that you really love the content. Proofread it. Make sure there's no typos if you have a PowerPoint, anything that could sabotage you. Control what you could control ahead of time. Then, day of, it's hard for most people to take a little time for yourself. The three of us are busy, your audience, everybody's busy. We're all busy. But if you're going to give an important presentation that really matters, take an hour to turn your phone off, not answer difficult emails, not argue with a spouse, not do anything stressful, and instead give yourself some time to feel good and feel confident and feel comfortable. Go to the gym, meditate, Sing loudly in the car. Read your resume. This is a big one. I talk with people about this a lot. People who have imposter syndrome or just feel like sometimes, well, maybe I'm not the person to give this presentation. I don't know. I'm kind of not feeling it. Something as simple as going to your LinkedIn page and reading your resume, or better yet, in my opinion, writing it down, because something happens when you physically write stuff down, is a quick reminder that, yeah, you know what? You do belong in that room. You have achieved a lot of stuff in your life, and you have every right to be giving the presentation. A lot of that mental work. Big breathing technique also that I teach people. It's not mine, it's a Navy SEAL breathing technique, but it's called box breathing. I don't know if you guys know what it is. Okay, I see the nodding. Okay, great. Serena knows what it is.
Yes, yes, yes. We do know box breathing, and we've had someone on before that did lead us through some cycles of box breathing, and we found it so helpful.
It's the best. And I'll give you one twist specific to public speaking about it. So if anyone in your audience missed that episode and doesn't know what box breathing is, just quickly, it's 4 counts of 4. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. And if you do that for a minute or two before you present, it is going to, if you're nervous, even if you're not, it's going to reset your body physiologically. Your brain will function better. Your heart will slow down. You will feel more confident. And here is the difference maker with public speaking. I wonder if you two will agree, although you guys are pros now, you host a podcast, so maybe it's not a big deal for you. But most people that I work with are very nervous in the beginning of a presentation. They almost always tell me, once I get going in the middle, I'm fine, and the end is great. But the beginning, man, the beginning's so hard. And it is hard to just start talking and, I don't know, just make a PowerPoint feel normal, or just get into your pitch and do the small talk thing. The beginning's tough. So when you're doing your box breathing right before you're going to start a presentation, what I want you to do is only think about the beginning. That is it. I do not care about minute 8 of your presentation. I do not care about slide 5 of your presentation. You'll figure that out as you're going. What I care about is, hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited to share this with you. Before we start, I want to say this. Whatever your first 30 seconds are, that's what I want you to be saying to yourself as you're doing your box breathing. I just want you to nail the beginning, because if you do, you get momentum and you're off to the races.
True.
Brilliant. The opener, right? It's like how you walk in the room, envisioning that. I love visualizing myself walking in to a meeting and just what that's going to be, my opening line. So I think that's incredible, incredible advice. Dave, you coach people for TEDx and major stages. What separates a good talk from a memorable one?
Oh, I love it. Storytelling. That's it. That's the whole ballgame. That's
Yes.
it. In one word, storytelling. I'm a big proponent of starting with the story, jumping right in. So you just talked about how you think about yourself walking into the room. Yes, you can come out on a stage and you can say, hi, everybody, I'm Dave. I hope you're having a nice day. Today, we're going to talk about public speaking. Here is a slide that shows the agenda. Before I start, read this disclaimer at the bottom. And now here's 47 slides. Okay, fine. Or you come out, you take a second, you don't necessarily talk right away. You own the space, you look around, you make eye contact, and then you just right into the middle of the story. You just start with, I was 12 years old and it was the most terrified I've ever been. And people are like, what? Where is this going? What? So that is how you are memorable. You just tell stories and you bring people with you for the ride.
Oof. Wow. Serena, we got to tell stories.
I know we do have a lot of stories to tell, and we will get there. I mean, I'm thinking, even as we're going through this, I have a story about what's happening right now in my life. I'm preparing for a show. I have to memorize lines for this show. And all of this advice is working for me because it's making me more confident that I'm going to nail it on the stage in a couple of weeks when we go live.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, so Dave, you've won an Emmy. What's one lesson from live TV that every business leader should steal?
That's such a good question. Man, live TV is insane because there's so many things happening at one time that if I guess what I would say is, because there are so many things happening at one time, I would say to just, as best as you can, have tunnel vision and focus on having a conversation. If you're being interviewed with the host, focus on just communicating your message. Because if you've never been on TV before and you walk into a studio and there's lights and there's giant cameras and there's people with headsets and there's makeup and there's all these things and someone's counting down, and it could be, I think, really intimidating if you let it. So instead of all of that, understand that it's going to be that. So mentally visualize it. Just connect. When I tell people when they're on TV and they're being interviewed, unless they're looking directly at camera, which you're usually not doing, you're usually looking at the host. I always say that treat the camera as if it's eavesdropping on your conversation with the host. So just try to have a conversation and not worry about all of this stuff that's going on around you.
Okay. All right.
And by the way, and also bring water or have water on set, which may sound like a who cares,
Yeah.
but until you don't have it, you'll never know how badly you need it. That's a big one for speaking on stages too. If you're going to give a long speech or a presentation, there's going to be a moment where you swallow a bug or you're coughing and there's no water to be found, and you would give anything for a glass of water. So just make sure you have one around.
So it kind of breaks up that speaking. It gives you a little second to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, man. And have you? Do you remember the last time you were parched and your throat was dry, or you had something in your throat? And then it's a horrible feeling if you can't fix that. Especially, on TV, at least there's presumably another person to talk. But if you're in charge of the presentation and it's just you, woof, not a good feeling.
Yeah, Dave, I'm so curious. From the old days of Slime, do you miss it?
I loved being on Nickelodeon. Slime Time Live still to this day is the thing that I'm most proud of in my whole career. The show that I enjoyed the most. It was live TV, studio audience, pieing people, dumping slime, just chaos and craziness. It was so fun. It was every day was an absolute joy. It was pretty. When I was a kid and even in high school, I wanted to be a sportscaster on ESPN or something serious. My plan was not to be a game show host dumping slime on people, but so glad the way that everything worked out.
That's awesome.
All right. What else is in your arsenal, Dave? For listeners who hate public speaking, what's the first small win they should aim for?
I'll show you. Take your phone right here, press record, talk into it, and watch yourself. And you can delete it, don't care, but start getting comfortable pressing record and doing the reps. Before you delete it, I would really love if you watched it and dispassionately and analytically, not emotionally, take stuff from it. Okay, I like the way that I explained that. Okay, I said a few times here. I'm going to work on that. All right, I explained that part well, but this part I was a little long-winded. Oh, my posture is better than I thought it was, but this shirt looks terrible. I'm going to fix that. Not, I hate myself. I hate how I look. I hate how I sound. I'm throwing my phone in the garbage. That's not helpful. Don't do that. But an immediate win is just to press record. When I was in journalism school and when I was starting in my career, I'm so old, we didn't have these fancy cell phones with these cameras. You had to be on TV to create content. Now anyone can create content. So I say just do the work and just get comfortable with seeing yourself on camera. You'll get better, I promise. But you're not going to get better if you don't practice and if you don't watch.
I love it. It's constructive criticism. It's for yourself. You're your own producer. You're your own director. And at the end of the day, it's you performing. It's you showing up. I love it. I love it. There's so much good nuggets of information, Colby. I mean, Dave, we really admire what you're doing. And then you're putting it out there for the public. So how can people work with you?
Just go to my website, daveaizer.com. It's Dave, AIZER.com. You can schedule a free call to see if we align. I help everybody from entire companies to founders, executives, anyone who wants to become a better public speaker. I work with high school and college kids. I work with people who have to write wedding speeches, which is one of my favorite things to do because it's such an important emotional thing that people really want to deliver well. So if you're on TV, if you're commanding a boardroom, you want to be better on video conference, whatever, reach out. Let's see what we can do.
Amazing. Dave, thank you so much. We so appreciate you.
My pleasure. This was fun, and kudos to both of you because I know how hard it is to run a show, and you're doing great work. You have very good chemistry, which, by the way, I've had many co-hosts in my career. Sometimes the chemistry is better than others, so it's good that you like each other because that doesn't always happen on set.
We are very
Absolutely. I think the world of Colby. I admire him so much, and he inspires me every day in how hard he's worked, his family life, his business, and his success. So thank you for that, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, reach out if you need a little push, a little motivation, and we'll see you soon, Dave. Thank you.